So, welcome everybody to my first ever spiritual ascension class. And I'm super excited to start this. And I want to thank each one of you because right this moment, you could be anywhere, you could be doing anything, but you are here with me to share this space and time with me. So, I'm very grateful for that. I'm going to change this. Yeah, I would like to see my face in the recording. So how do you set this to speaker? Anyway, oh, Rajinder is here. So, oh, perfect timing. Yeah, let's go. So today's session is about magic in the mundane and how we experience synchronicities and angelic guidance. And before I jump into that, since this is my first session and you are seeing me doing this for the first time, I would like to share what I do. So this is distracting. Yeah. Okay. So 6 months ago, like I quit my job. I had a wonderful job as a software developer, but I had this messages and guidance coming in, and everything in my life was telling me to do something for people who are experiencing spiritual awakening. And spiritual awakening sounds, in at least in our culture, a big deal, that something happens to very selected people. But right now it's a time in the planet where the whole collective, the whole human race is going through this process because the energy of the planet is upgrading. So more and more people are experiencing supernatural experiences and encounters or incidents, and they're opening up to the magical and mystical nature of our existence. And people who are going through this, it's hard for them, and it was hard for me because it happens in pockets, and generally people around you are not going through the same thing, and you think you're going crazy, and it's a very difficult journey to take alone. And that's why the message I got, that I need to step up and share what I learned in my journey and help people make this transition. Yeah. So I help awaken souls to integrate your spiritual lessons and transform your life through conscious creation. And I'll talk about it some again, and when we meet again. But today, since we have a little time, I'll move on. This, I do a lot of sharing, and I talk about it daily on my social media, and you can see that on the screen. So please follow, and if you want to take a moment and do it right now, that's super cool. I would really appreciate it. And if you already do follow me there, thank you for your support. And anytime if you need any feedback or you have suggestions, a new topic you want me to talk about, I am all ears all the time. So just send your queries over DMs and stuff. Okay. Oops. So yeah, synchronicities and angelic guidance. So all these images you're seeing on the screen right now are taken by me. They are not sourced from the internet. Okay, these are my phone camera shots or screenshots from my phone, and you can see repeating numbers here. This is just one of the ways I receive messages from the angelic realm or my higher consciousness to guide me through my daily life. This first car you see that says 7777, this is the car that was standing in front of us when we were on our trip to Tirthan Valley last month. And it was just before we were going on that journey, and I was going through this process of presenting and having a retreat there. So, and 7 represents strength. It represents re-evaluating what we want to create in our life and where we are putting our efforts. So it's synced up so amazingly. And this other card that also says 7, oh, I saw this the day after I came back after the trip into my home in Goa. And these are other instances. And this is like the 1111 is a big, and it's very popular among the community of people awakening, because they tend to see this on their phone, and that kind of invokes a feeling of being aligned, being supported, being in connection with the source, and it's a blissful feeling. And when you start noticing this thing, that a number is getting you excited, a number is talking to you, you may feel that you're going crazy, because maybe people around you are not experiencing it, but these things happen. So if you are getting what I'm saying, oh, Vinay says I used to see 1, 2, 3, 4. That's amazing. Love it. Uh, yeah, and 1, 2, 3, 4 means progression, because it's progressing. So it shows that you are through a transformation and progressing in the right direction. So that's great. I wanted to ask exactly that, like how many of you experience all this already? And it's not only through numbers, it can happen through interactions and dreams and conversations you have with people. So if you're following me and you are resonating with this content, whatever I'm sharing, please drop a 111 in the chat, so that I know that you are understanding what I'm saying. Yeah, Ahmed. Yes, Aina. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. Thank you, Vinay. Cool. Amazing. I'm so glad that this crowd is matching up to this frequency, because that's exactly another way we sync up. Okay. Um, so we are here in this meeting room, not just because we are matching up this frequency, because we are pulling energetically each other into this room. We have things to learn from each other. So this is also a synchronicity sign that you are meant to discover this um, language. And this Rajendra saying he sees 7 and 7 7 will. Oh wow, that. See, I was going on a trip with you. That's amazing. I didn't even know that it is already connected with you. See how this happens. Amazing. So let's go to the next slide, because I wanted to share some other kind of synchronicities I experienced, and I'm going to give up on this now and just move on. Yeah, so this is Leah. She is an author. She is an spiritual catalyst, and she is amazing. She is a healer with amazing abilities. And she is one of my mentors. And we were talking about dead rabbit, because that came up in a conversation. I made a post about it. You can see on 5th June. And a few days later, a couple of days later, she saw this beer bottle, the beer can saying dead rabbit on a store. And this is also how you can get synchronicity, that you're matching up, you're aligning with someone, and you're meant to work together, or meant to be, in some sort of a relationship to create something. Yeah, and Aina sent me a reel which explains very nicely how people who are beginning to learn something, they usually learn by imitation, because we are evolved from monkeys. So imitation is the game that we play. And today morning, we were watching this cooking show, and where the chef says that I learned it by imitating my mother. So that's a synchronicity, that this message is coming to be integrated in my being, that it's okay to imitate, it's okay to copy, and then make it my own. So that's where you put the authenticity. But learning by imitating is not a sin, as many would have this limiting belief. All right. So, Aina, would you like to share? I'm going to stop presenting for a while, and I'm going to ask Aina to share her recent experience with the 1111. And this is as recent as last night. Thank
It
you.
is literally just happened last night, and so I am actually in the middle of changing my role, changing my jobs, and I've been having these doubts, like, I don't know, like I was synced with this for a while, that yes, I want to switch my job, I want to work at this company. But over the weekend, someone said something, and I just started doubting my decision. Should I move there? Should I not? Does it like align with me? Like, should I be doing this job instead of this one? I mean, I am earning fine. I should, maybe I don't have to change. But when last night, I just, very positive thoughts just came into my head, and I'm like, okay, so if I work at this new company, this is how my future would be. I'll be helping people, I'll be connecting with them. I like that would make my soul happy. And I had my eyes closed when I was thinking about that, and the second I opened my eyes, I see 11/11 and 11 June on my phone. And I was just so, that positive feeling that it gave, like it literally gave me chills. And I was like, okay, I have decided now, I am definitely switching my jobs. The universe is telling me that I should do this. So yeah, that actually just happened last night, and I told Meghma about it, that dude, this happened. That was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Aina, for sharing. I'm gonna go back to the presentation. Yeah. So how does that sound to you guys? Like, let me know in the chat. Very nice. It's sort of, yeah, thank you. Okay, so let's understand this phenomenon, like what's happening, like then we can use that knowledge to go further and use this newfound power to actually transform our lives. So what's a synchronicity? It's just a form of communication and from your subconscious mind. It's trying to confirm what you believe, what your reality is. Your subconscious reality always reflects out the external reality. And when you notice these things, it's just your subconscious mind which is connected to the universal mind, and the universal mind consists of higher dimensional beings, which we also call gods or deities, different energy beings, angels, spirit guides, and all that exist in this universal mind in different dimensions. And our subconscious mind is connected to it. And through our waking hour, through our thoughts and our interaction with the physical reality, we always communicate with our subconscious mind. And this is the mind's way to communicate back to us, to confirm, and sometimes even redirection, like it says on this screen. Like Aina had last night when she needs a little bit of confirmation around what direction she needs to move. And sometimes you can even get synchronicity warning you. Like from my first job, when I was in the middle of deciding if I had to leave and stuff, I kept my work kept getting messed up. Even though I know I am a good developer, my work kept getting bugs and stuff. And I took that as a sign. Okay, I should leave this reality behind and focus on where the signs and synchronicities are trying to take me. So a synchronicity, that is an external event that confirms your beliefs that could be conscious or even subconscious. For example, if you have a subconscious belief that you are a hard friend to get along with, or to, and your friends don't really, support you and stuff, then that might ripple out in the external, and you might see people avoiding you, not inviting you to parties and stuff like that, to confirm your belief about that you are not very sociable. And or and other, and since I and Aina have come to this belief, and all those who are experiencing angel numbers, that this is how the angel realm and the higher dimensions communicate with us, since we are open to that belief, we are receiving that. So if that makes sense, what I just shared right now, please type 111 again in the chat so that I can see that I'm getting through to you. Cool, amazing, Vinay, nice. Yeah. Amazing. Thank you. That makes me very happy. So now I think from all the examples I shared, you have already noticed that it is not always positive. Sometimes we face negative synchronicity. Sometimes even when you feel that you are having a hard time, that will be confirmed in your relationship. Maybe your relationship will fall apart, your career and your whole day is going to fall apart because you kind of believe that you're having a hard time. And those kind of synchronicities are called negative synchronicity. um, the positive synchronicity is more lovingly called and accepted as guidance and angelic confirmation. Excuse me. Um, and our goal here is to shift from negative synchronicity, get less and less of that only when it's necessary, and it's a redirection, and then just move to getting positive synchronicities and following those breadcrumbs to build a life, to create a life that is in alignment with our God self, with our higher selves. So negative synchronicities acts as a mirror to face our fears, right? Any fear, any limiting belief you have around people, around money, around your self-worth and self-esteem, that's going to play out in the external to hold that mirror so that you can observe what's happening and not take it as an ultimate truth of your reality, but basically reflect what fears and limits you hold within yourself, how you are dimming your light by subscribing to ideas that you have no business subscribing to. And you can change them, you can work through them too. And as you do that, the negative synchronicities will also vanish and diminish away from your life. And similarly, the positive synchronicity acts as guiding lights on the path of spiritual evolution. So, as you become open to this idea that these signs and synchronicities are leading me to a better life, to a better reality that suits my soul, that even opens up more and more messages coming through. And not only through numbers and stuff, you get to observe it through interactions and different things, and you get an idea of how everything is connected, and it's connecting and falling into place. It's a beautiful experience to feel. So obviously, like, we are at different stages of how we are working through these synchronicities. And what I figured that this is a good way to kind of empower our ascension journey, our evolution, because we're working through higher intelligence through this communication. So that's why I structured this session around that how we can receive these synchronicities. And like I said, the first thing is to be open to this idea. And in our world, we are going through a transition. This kind of things is lunacy. In like 20 years back, I couldn't be talking about this on a online platform and stuff. But now it's a common reality. So many people in this room experience this. So be more and more open to receiving this, to understanding this, and ask for guidance. Be specific. Ask for, give me a sign about my current relationship, give me a sign about my decision and all that, and you will receive it. Just keep your eye open. So I also wanted to tie this into how our brain functions. And the Bader Meinhof phenomenon is a study on human psychology and how the attention of our brain works. I mentioned this in this presentation because I want you to understand that this thing actually works, is built in our body, in our system. And this is not a superpower that only some people will have. This is very human. And if we observe it and use it, that is super cool tool to have. I'm gonna check the chat and see what's coming in. Okay. Oh, Aina says it literally happened to me when I started believing in the magic of the universe. I started seeing more synchronicities. I love that. Oh, people find it interesting. Oh, thank you, Aina. Amazing. Thank you so much. This gets better and better. So what is the Bader-Meinhof phenomenon? It is also known as a selective attention bias. And the most famous example of explaining this type of brain function is, for example, you decide to buy a blue car because you want to buy a new car and you decided it should be blue. And then you think about the model, which company, and all that. And next day, when you're on the road going to your work or some meeting a friend, you start seeing that blue cars all around you, start seeing that exact model passing through you. Does that mean that suddenly the number of blue cars in your area increased? No, you are just starting to focus on the thing that you are thinking about all day. And that's how our brain functions. So whatever your attention goes to, your energy flows there too, and you sync up with those material objects. So this is how this study was published in 1994, which is the year I was born. So this science has been here on this planet as long as I am here. So that's amazing. Okay. So like I mentioned before, that we might be in various degrees of how we are working with this synchronicity. And uh, if you want to go deeper into it and really use this, there are some questions that you can ask to help you, get a communication built up, your personal way of communicating with your higher intelligence in place. And the first is to have awareness. The first step would be, and if you think you are not experiencing this yet, this is where you need to start working, like start observing and watching if you are seeing any repeating patterns. It could be a number that's appearing on phone numbers, billboards, and bills and stuff, or it could be a kind of relationship, a dynamic pattern that's repeating among your peers. So it's either reflecting a fear that you have, a limiting belief you have, or it is giving you a guidance, a direction to move forward. So first step would be to build that awareness. And then you increase the scope of your observation. You take more data, like when I am noticing this, what are the thoughts coming to my head when I'm noticing this, and what I'm doing in that time, where I am. All that will give you more data in what is the guidance about. Like Aina mentioned in her example, it was about her job that she is switching right now. And the confirmation came when she was thinking very positively about it. And lastly comes the interpretation, like from the observation on the data that you collect. And with practice, you get to really do it fast, and you have the trust and confidence as you interpret these messages from your higher self. Yeah, which is your subconsciousness. And yeah. Okay. So this is the consciousness chart, or the vibrational frequency chart, as I said on this slide, which means uh, what frequency are you holding currently? And this would be confirmed by the synchronicities that you are seeing on your external world. And what synchronicities you are seeing can be understood from this first two steps, like with the awareness and observation. You can see what synchronicities are reflecting back in your life at this point. And then you can decide where you are lying on this scale. And our goal is to be high up here, maintain a frequency, maintain a vibe. Now, the words vibration and frequency might sound too, from our physics books, and traumatize people in the first go. But we understand vibe, we understand energy, like we understand how we feel when we are around certain people. The people who that makes us feel amazing about ourselves and amazing about just being is on the higher scale of this chart. And people who make us feel anxious and guarded and make us close our lies in that. So our job is to take care of our energy and decide where we are here, not to judge it, but just to understand it, so that you know what is the next step to do. Yeah. So am I clear there? Am I getting through, people? Oh, Saurav, thank you for that. I'm closing up. We are end of the presentation anyway. Cool. Let's move on then. That's should be all now. I'll just unmute people to ask your questions. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, I totally forgot mentioning, and thank you so much for reminding Saurav and Aina. Yeah, so tarot is one of my favorite modality, and I'm so sorry why you are. Uh, Okay. Tarot is my like one of the most favorite modality, and I use it in my day-to-day life. Okay, when I'm around the day, I carry my pocket tarot wherever I go, and I use that during these sessions also to get guidance, not from what I am feeling intuitively or from your story and stuff, but also what my subconsciousness, which is connected to the universal mind, giving me for you. So that's an amazing process. It's very magical, and it's amazing how it makes sense, even there's just some cards on the table. So yeah, that's in there too. And if you just want to get a single session of a tarot card reading, then just go to my website and check out for the session that I have.